Everyone, my name is Hannah Graydon-Foy and I'm here from Nucor, training lead on the program. First of all, I'd like to introduce Charlotte, our team leader. I know that everyone knows Charlotte, but just wanted to point out that Charlotte is sitting down here. So give Charlotte a wave. And also my colleagues, both Tom and Jill here from the training team. They're going to stand up and give everyone a wave so you know exactly who's going to be delivering the training program going forward. So what we're going to be talking about in this session, I'm not going to have the mic on. My husband says that I'm boomer, so I don't know if I need it. But in the back, if you can't hear me, raise a hand. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay, good stuff. Because I tend to pace, and the mic is kind of over there. So please let me know if you have any problems hearing. What we're going to do is, throughout this session, this half-an-hour session, I'm going to ask if you could just reserve your questions to the end, because then we can get through all of the content, and if there's something that you need to ask questions on, you do that at the end, and then that way I can actually get through the content and we know that we've covered everything that we need to. Is that okay, everyone? Excellent stuff. But please don't forget any of those questions, because they'll be invaluable. So, really, so pleased about the turnout this afternoon. It's just so wonderful to see such a keen organization, all driving this forward. So what we're going to be talking about in the next half an hour is training. So we're not actually going to be delivering you training, although we will be taking you through a flavor of the training that we have developed. But what we're talking about in the next half an hour is basically taking you through where we are in the training program. So what we're going to be doing, what we have been doing, and what we're going to be doing up to go live and post go live. All right, so that's the subject of the next half an hour. What we have been doing so far is we've been delivering some presentations. So wherever we can, we get our little feet in the door on team meetings on all different levels to kind of get the word out. So this is what Nucor is. And I can see some wonderfully familiar faces in the audience. There's Hannah there, another Hannah. Lots of different people that we've either sort of trained or we've presented to. And I'll come back onto that in a second. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be delivering classroom sessions. Up until now, we have been delivering pilot sessions. And I know that some of you have been attending those pilot sessions. Up until now, it's been super users. Can I see a show of hands on super users? Yay! I'm so glad you're here. Okay, excellent. So basically, up until now, we have been delivering to super users. There's some of you that will not have been trained in the classroom just yet, but you will have either had invitations for training going forward, or you will be receiving invitations for training going forward. And if you have any questions about that, then please do shout out when we introduce the segment on asking questions. But that's our goal, is that we will be classroom training all of our super users to make sure that you're absolutely prepared to support everybody once we go live. We have approached training with a blended approach. So not only do we have classroom training available, and I need to kind of recap on that. This classroom training, it will be instructor-led, interactive. It is not actually going to be the entire 8,000 plus people that are going to be accessing the system that will get classroom training. What we have said is all super users, and we've said it works out to be about 10% of the population that will be offered training, okay? Now, some of that is mandatory training, and some of the mandatory training is going to be, say, in the finance world, if we're a finance person, or in the HR world, if we're an HR person. If, however, you absolutely would like to attend the employee and line manager training, then it will be that you can, we basically circulated to all the senior managers an email last week that says, okay, who would you like us to include this? And then basically what we're going to do is, to all those people that were on those lists, we're going to be sending out a link so you can actually self-enroll onto the line manager and the employee courses for classroom training. All right? Now, what we also have, as well as classroom training, is we have e-learning. So every single transaction that will need to be done in Nucor, we have recorded using our e-learning tool. Has everyone heard of Canvas? Yeah, I hope so. So all of the e-learning is on Canvas, all right? And then the link for the super user is going to go out before the link for everybody else. But effectively what you can do is every single transaction across the suite of modules in Nucor will be recorded using that. So if you forget how to put on an expense, you'll be able to look on there. If you need to update your personal details, you can access how to do that by looking at a video on Canvas. So that is your backstop, really, okay? And that is really, really important as a tool for super users and for the entire community. And I would suggest that, you know what, say once we're live in February and you don't know how to do something, that might be the best place to look before you kind of go to your super users to ask help. But of course, your super users are there to help. But they might be a little bit inundated to begin with. So if you can find the answer for yourselves, then go ahead and go into Canvas and do that. Okay, that's the advice. What we also have on Canvas is step-by-step guides, all right? So this is in the form of presentations, and we're calling them quick reference guides. So you can literally go through and you can see, without running a video, the step-by-steps on how to actually perform that particular transaction, how to put in a purchase requisition, how to put in a requisition as a hiring manager, that kind of thing. We will also have both floor walking and drop-in sessions. Now, what are those? These are mainly focused on employee and the line manager community. Floor walking is typically post-go live. So we've gone live in February. We have our super users that are going to be available for us to go and ask questions, but there also will be the core team that are kind of there on call to answer your questions. And basically, I know that the professor earlier mentioned the post-go live support. We will be issuing you out with extensive instructions as to how to access help. So, for instance, if you cannot access that link on day one, then there will be instructions on where to go within the IT help desk pages. And there'll be a specific new core area where you can go in and you can log a call. It will go straight to the new core team, all right? So that's kind of aside, and you'll get instructions on that. What I'm really focusing on today is the training support element. So floor walkers will be there post-go live. Drop-in sessions are something that we're actually going to be offering pretty soon, up until go live and probably post-go live. And these are sessions set up a bit like this, where we're going to go through the functionality, we're going to go through some background about the system, we're going to allow you to ask questions, and they'll be about an hour long. You can just come at your leisure, come to all of them if you want, but we'll be running lots of those, and then they'll be advertised in the next few weeks' time. Yeah, very soon, all right. And there will also be, where it is required, we will be sitting and doing any one-to-one sessions with people that need it. All right, so a little bit more about some other training, and I'm going to hand over to Mark for 2 minutes. So basically what we're also doing is we are in partnership with the training program that we're doing for Nucor. We're also offering some change management training and some basic IT skills training for those individuals that are not really too used to using systems on a regular basis. So I'm just going to ask Mark to come to the front and just give you a little bit of a brief overview on the change management aspect of the training being offered.
Great. Thank you very much, Hannah. My name is Mark Adams. I work for People and Organisational Development. And as part of the support for training, alongside the technical skills training, we're also going to be running some change management workshops, specifically for managers and supervisors who will be implementing Nucor with their teams. So that's both academic and professional services settings. And the focus of those sessions will be, how do you support your team with going through Nucor? How do you communicate key messages? How do you support them with developing their skills? And how do you deal with resistance? So for those people who don't perhaps embrace Nucor, maybe have some issues with regards to taking on board the system, we'll be looking at how you actually help and support those people so that they can become successful, competent and confident in using the system. So those workshops are going to be for 3 hours long. We're going to run some open workshops. Those are going to take place towards the end of December and in January, and you can book on those through the pod website. And you can also potentially avail of some of these workshops that we're going to be running in the colleges. So we'll also be running change management for Nucor workshops in the colleges themselves in consultation with directors of operations. And there'll be separate messaging sent out about those within your colleges. Just to reiterate, the training is specifically for managers and supervisors, so that includes everybody from academic and academic-related managers, heads of school, heads of department, PIs, through to managers in professional services. And the focus is on the people skills and taking people through change. And I was struck earlier this week, actually, I was running a workshop, and somebody in the workshop, who's a relatively senior academic colleague, said to me, "What's Nucor?" So the message still isn't necessarily out there. There are still people who are not aware of Nucor, are not aware of the implications it has for their work. And for some of you as managers, it's going to require significant skill and effort on your part to take people through those changes. So Pod are here to support you with those people skills. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark. That's great. Thank you. Right, so to just embellish now, after that was a great update, Mark. Thank you very much. To embellish on what we're going to be doing back in the Nucor arena. So classroom training we've gone out to senior officers to get nominations, and basically, like I said before, we'll ask you to basically what's it called, Tom? to self-book onto the courses. So we're going to be running classroom training in between the 3rd of December and the 18th of December. All right, so we're starting really soon. And next week we're running some self-service training next week already. But the key finance training will be starting and work tribe training will be starting on the 3rd of December to the 18th. We then will be kicking back off after Christmas on the 7th of January to the 1st of February. Now, any training requirements that are required that arise, that are needed after that period of time, we will look at closer to the time. So any people that feel that they need classroom training that weren't able to attend in the windows specified up there, we'll be looking at doing some mop-up sessions. So don't worry, it's not all just going to shut us down. That's it. We will look at mop-up training after that. So talked a little bit about drop-in sessions. So this is going to be across the university. We're running 1-hour drop-in sessions. Presentation, demonstration, ask lots of questions. That's what we're going to be doing. And I've already said post-go-live training on demand. Okay, just a little bit on the Super User Network. You know who you are. So essentially what we have is supporting end users with Nucor queries and raising calls. So what we have said, I just want to reiterate the point I made earlier. If you have a query, it might be best to look at e-learning materials to see how you do something. But if you still need some help, then you'll go to your super user, and your super user can teach you or walk you through how to raise a call if that is actually required, or they can talk you through where the e-learning is, or perhaps they can help you with the transaction themselves. So there's going to be a bit of a blended almost bedding in approach to this. We have super users by area. So we're going to have super users that are nominated to employee, hiring manager, line manager, and then we've got HR and payroll, finance, and work tribe separately. So the majority of the people in the room here will be line manager and employee stroke hiring manager super users. So those will be their areas of specialty. Sometimes super users will be covering multiple areas, and this was in consultation with them and their managers. They were happy to take it on. But there are going to be some people who are going to be supporting multiple areas, and they'll also have our team as a backup. So super users will have our team as a backup for them as well. If there's questions they cannot answer, they can come back to us. All super users will be trained. Touched on that earlier. And we have asked for super users to provide us feedback all throughout the pilots that we've been running to tell us that we've got it right or we've got it wrong, and to just basically tease out the key questions that are going to be asked by the rest of you, by the rest of the user community. So we've done a lot of homework, and we've done a lot of plowing back into our content, the feedback that has been collated through the pilot sessions. So they've been extremely useful, and all I can say is a massive thank you for attending those. As far as who is my super user is concerned, there is going to be a link of super users, or there's going to be a list of super users, I should say, on SharePoint. There will also be a list of super users on Canvas, all right? So you'll be able to see, if you don't know who your local super user is, your local friendly super user is, you'll be able to see a list on Canvas and on SharePoint, and we will guide you to the place where you will see that. All right. Okay, right. Now I'm just going to give you a flavor of the materials that we have developed. Some of you may have seen these types of demonstrations before, so bear with me if you have. We'll just take a few minutes to look at Canvas and the content that we have created, and then we'll go to questions. Okay, so all right, so everyone will have access to Canvas, and if you don't have access to Canvas, by all means, you can ask us how you do get into Canvas. Once you get into Canvas and you basically apply for the courses that you need to put yourself on, then this is what you'll see on the left-hand side. So you can see that we have done a lot of work to pull this together to make it specific to the role that you fit in with it, that you fit into. Now, some of you, and you've probably heard this before, this is a role-based system, but some of you will have multiple roles. So if you are an employee and a line manager, then you will have at least 2 roles. And then if you have additional responsibilities such as, I don't know, work tribe, HR, finance, then you'll have roles on top of those. But what we've tried to do is make the learning, the e-learning, as intuitive as possible. So I'm just going to go in, I'm going to click into employee, and then this is a flavor of what you are going to see. So we can scroll down the page and we can see, for instance, update personal details. We can run it as e-learning, a video, or we can run it as a step-by-step guide. And if I scroll down here, you can see in a logical order, thank you, Tom, and Jill, of course, all of the topics listed in here, okay? So for instance, if we wanted to create an expense report, we can go into e-learning, click onto the link, it brings us a window, and it takes us through an introduction page, 2 different methods in which to run this particular learning, this particular video, either a see it or a try it, which is more interactive. If I click on see it, it then launches the video and it takes me through the entire end-to-end process for what I have selected. In this example, creating an expense report. So that gives you guidance as you go. It tells you where you need to click. And this is a sneak preview into what Nucor is going to look like if you haven't already seen it. Okay. So really, I think the entire employee updating details is something like 35 minutes. Is that right, Tom? That's what it comes up to, 25 minutes, I think. And so it really isn't a massive investment in your time. And I think what you can do is you can always, if you've got some spare time, you can go and you can have a look at the e-learning, but then you can always refresh your knowledge. If that's something that you need to do on the day, you go in, you take 5 minutes to run the video, and then you know how to do it. Right, I'm going to take us back. Go back into here, and I'm just going to show you the same for the step-by-step guides. So you can see e-learning is there, step-by-step guide is here. Oh, I did it on the wrong one. Now, just to let you know, I do have, we were giggling about this earlier, I have a superior level of access because I'm down as a teacher in Canvas. So the screens won't look exactly the same for you, but effectively you'll get the same access to the end user training materials. So you can see in here, this is a step-by-step guide, and you can use the little buttons at the top to just scroll through and have a look if this is your preferred way of how to do this particular transaction. All right, so you can use a video, you can look at a video, you can try it using a video, or you can actually run through it using the little quick reference guide and the scrolling pages. All right, everyone happy with that? Yeah, good stuff. Got some affirmatives in the audience. Okay. Oh, yes, yeah. And Bryony's just reminding me that you can actually download. So if you wanted to, you could actually print off these training materials if you feel more comfortable with that. But I suppose always one thing to remember, if at any point those materials are updated, then you'd need to go back and you'd need to have a look on Canvas. Because wherever we have improvements and we've got developments, then we would update them. So by all means, print them off, but you need to just make sure you've got the latest version. Right, I'm just going to nip back into my PowerPoint and we'll go to the final slide where we talk about where you can find out more information. So you may have seen this slide before. This is a very nice slide that Bryony put together. So there is the program newsletter, there's the intranet, and then there's also the new core blog where you can access some more information. So now, opening the floor up to questions.
Okay, I just want to say that that's a really, really clear demonstration of what the training materials are going to look like, and I think you'll agree that it's intuitive and it's easy to find. So let's thank Hannah for her presentation. Okay, so who's got some questions? Up there? Can you shout?
Yeah, go Brian.
Can you hear me? Yeah. It will be going out to super users at the start of next week, and then more widely across the university in the next edition of the new core newsletter, which will be going out as an all-staff email, and that will be going out either towards the end of next week or early the week after. We're just confirming it with the central Farcom team when we can get that out.
How will the training be advertised? Will it go through our line managers? I think some people have things that we have.
So this is the classroom training okay. So basically we're in the process of we've had, we're probably having back nominations from the senior officers at the moment. And then what we'll do is we'll send out an email to those individuals that have been nominated by senior officers to say, would that disseminate down to line managers as well? Do we know?
So different senior officers would probably take a different approach. We circulated the call to all senior officers. Yes. So we collated the list. So if anybody really feels like they really want to be on those invitation lists, make sure your line managers know so that is then communicated to senior officers so that when we get the lists back, your name is on it.
And then basically you'll use the link that's provided to then put your name down. You select a slot that is beneficial for you that you can do, and then we take it from there. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Is it too late to become a super user?
Never too late. What we do just need to ask is that we have sought dupe approval. So if you could just make sure that that your dupe is happy with that, but please just get in touch with us and we'd be very, very happy to include you. Okay.
Thank you.
Very good question. So instructions will go out just before the actual launch. And those instructions will contain a number of things. And thank you for saying that, actually, because it's a good thing for everyone to know. So there'll be instructions on how to access it. So it'll be a link or a icon that you will click on. It is single sign-on, so you do not need to put in your credentials again. So whatever you've logged into your system as, it will pick up your role against your profile, and it will take you straight into the homepage. Now, what you will also get in communications closer to go live is the things that you need to check. So is my access right? Yeah, I'm an employee. What should I have? If I'm a line manager, what shall I have? I need procurement. Everyone's got procurement as far as requisitions are concerned. But there will be some instructions on what to do when you first access the system. All right? So there'll be how you access it, what you need to look out for, what you need to check. All right? And that will come to you in the form of communication closer to the time.
Does the system signpost it to super users first or directly to the help desk?
So the system itself won't direct you to super users. So, but if you have a query with the system, And I would say that, and it's, again, a very good question. If it is something like of a technical nature, I'm clicking on the icon and it's saying, computer doesn't recognize me, then that's going to be the path that's the help desk. I mean, you could always say, super user, can you just have a look at this? And then they can guide you as to how you raise a call or pick up the phone and raise a call. But if it is, okay, I've got in and I'm looking at the expenses screen and I just don't know what to do, you either go to the e-learning or you can actually ask a super user, could you just like help me out here? So, but it will be kind of a bit of a, okay, is this like a purely technical, query, or whether it's kind of more of a support in training?
Okay, and how do you get guided to that? So what I'm thinking is really we want to be helping at the college level first before people are going through help desk and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And how do we do that? And does the NUCOR system guide you to those people as opposed to the?
Yeah, so I mean that would be the comms that will go out just before go live. So it will be like, okay, this is how you access it. If you have any issues, these are the ports of call that you would go to. Yeah.
So I think, sorry, just to be
Yep, go
clear,
right.
the checklist that Hannah mentioned, just that will have things like, so for example, go in and check your job title. If your job title isn't what you think it should be, because these are being pulled through from Alter HR, so we're conscious that they might not all be 100% accurate, then obviously in the first instance you will go to your line manager and we will have that guidance there in the communication, so it will say, like, what is your query?
Great point. Yeah.
Where should you go with that particular question? As much as we can possibly
Yeah.
anticipate the questions that will come up as we go live.
Yeah, thank you. Great question.
Yep.
So once the new system is launched, will the old things that we use now, will they cease to be? We'll have no access to any of it all?
Yeah. So there'll be some read access. Right access? Okay, wrong word. So for certain systems, we will have read-only access, so you're able to sort of inquire.
To look into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. 100%.
Get the URLs.
And eventually there will be an app as well. Okay?
So in the initial comms around Go Live, there will be the desktop icon if you're in the university or you go onto your remote thing. But to access it when you're away from the university, there will be specific URLs that we will give you details of to get into the system.
And our IT services work stream has been working on some friendly URLs. So for those of you who've been doing the user acceptance testing or the training, for example, you'll see that the links at the moment are quite lengthy and difficult to remember. But when we get to go live, it will be very, very short.
Very
and easy
succinct.
to remember
Yeah.
URLs.
In terms of training, will there be sort of training on financial reports so they can manage our budgets?
Yeah, absolutely. At the moment, there's some work being done on collating a holistic view of reports and what those reports provide for you. So there'll be sort of a description and those data elements that will be provided in those reports. At the moment, I can tell you categorically in the line manager training, we go through and show line managers the line manager, what we call dashboard, which is a repository of reports that have been collated for your use as a line manager. So there could be like FTE reports, there could be absence reports, that kind of thing. So we absolutely will be educating on reporting and how to go about accessing the repository of reports that you can access.
The only thing I will say is this, with the reports that they've allocated now, after the first 3 months we will keep reviewing because they may not be everything that you currently require. So when you look at the reports, please remember if they're not giving you the data that you actually need to do the work and the analysis that you need to do, then you have to go through your line manager so they feed that back so that we review the reporting going forward.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, it's more like a statement or a query. I work in purchasing, finance costs, unit costs, colleges, and there's been a lot of confusion with people asking us what's going to happen. And when I know it's not training based, it's like cut-off dates and stuff. People are still very up in the air. We don't have solutions or answers to tell them, and
Yeah,
I'm just concerned that.
I'll come back to you with that.
Okay.
Steve Cutler is our Deputy Finance Director, and
Yeah.
he is looking after all the finance comms for Cutover.
Okay.
They have now been sent out to the workstream leads and M3, and that should be filtering its way through to you.
Okay.
Jonathan Jones,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe,
yeah.
you work for in his
Yeah,
department.
yeah.
He is fully aware of them,
Okay.
and I would suggest that you, when you go back,
Yes.
go through that with him.
Okay.
And if you have any issues at all,
Yeah.
if you email me, and I'm kate.williams.2,
Okay.
I will make sure you get them.
Okay. Wonderful. Thanks, Kate.
My pleasure.
And it's also useful to know that all of the cutover communications are actually on the new core repository. So there is an area where you can see all, you can see all of the new core dates.
Yeah.
And they have also been sent out to the super users as well.
It's probably just worthwhile saying there as well that we are disseminating some information further across colleges with revised deadlines to bring it forward in terms of what needs to be done within the college before it gets to finance, so some of those will start to go out very soon as well.